So I'd like to ask a general question to all of you, and possibly starting off with you, Niladri. Access to earned wages before payday is becoming an important employee benefit worldwide. Why do you think solutions like MySalary are necessary in Kenya today?
Thank you, Moses. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome. So my name is Roy, and I represent MySalary for some time, and wish everybody will actually get the benefits out of it. Moses, to answer your question, we first experimented anything what we wanted to actually produce in the market. We first experimented with ourselves, right? So our group of company called Craft Silicon and Little, where we first experimented, because we have found that this is a crisis when the people are getting into the mid-month. We have a cash crunch, and it happened to everybody in our organizations because people are coming to the HR and finance asking for some small advances, and that is also kind of not digitized. So it creates a problem statement to any organization, particularly our organization to start with, and we thought that that can be an opportunity for us to bring it out for the rest of the companies in this country. And that is where the idea to the realization started.
Great.
Thank you.
Snehar, how are you?
Good
to have you here today.
Thank you.
So what is your thought in terms of these challenges that many employees are experiencing before the payday happens, and how MySalary solves that?
Yeah, and first of all, thank you for the invitation. I really liked your presentation, Sam, and the EVP. It's so important in the business that we do, because at the end of the day, we are all human-centric. I know we're all talking about AI, but at the end of the day, welfare and looking after our employees is so key. And I come from a finance background. Now I'm more in general management, but until now we've had kind of a no policy for giving advances, because we have I think people generally don't like finance people, and our CFO didn't want any headaches. So when Niladri and the team came to present to our company, I think I was blown away because it's taking away all the headaches from us, and in business. It's all about a win-win scenario. So here, as a company, we have nothing to lose but lots to gain, and of course for the employees. And we know in this day and age, there are so many pain points during the month. Kenyans are quite peculiar. So one good thing that I'm hoping that comes out of this, because when we come to end month, you see so much traffic on the roads, right? Because everyone has cash to fuel their cars. So I hope with this easing of the cash flows, we'll see the traffic more stabilized, across the month. That's one example. But when it comes to school fees, health, looking after relatives, it solves so many pain points. So I just love this innovation.
Fantastic. Gloria, how are you? Great to have you here. So what would your perspective on the same question?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yes. Access to earned wages before payday is becoming an important employee benefit worldwide. Why do you think solutions like MySalary are necessary in Kenya today?
Working in HR, what I realized that most employees are normally stressed because of finances. So when they're stressed because of finances, they don't perform that well in their job roles. They don't concentrate too much on their roles, and that impacts organizations negatively. So with MySalary app, like for instance, we got onboarded last month. We realized that the employees were now working better, the employees were happier, and then it's something that they could easily use. So that access to money before the payday actually enables them to be able to solve any financial issues that they may have before the pay date. So with that, you find an employee is more engaged in their roles, and then they're more what is it called? They're more committed to the company.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Ford, how are you? Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
So what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, first I like to to just take some with what he says, as business leaders, you obviously have to ask yourself why. Why salary advances? Why solutions like MySalary? And in my experience over the years, if you look at employees, when you ask yourself that why do we do this as business leaders? And for me, it's a benefit that you're giving to your employees, because if you put it into context, you look at the economic challenges they're going through, then it has also a negative impact on their performance at work. And for you as a business leader, you see this kind of product like MySalary and the benefit that it gives to the employee, then you're able at least to deal with the financial stresses and the pressures that employees are able to get, and in turn, they can be able to perform better on their own. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Gloria, I'd like to come back to you again. You're an HR expert, you're also a business leader. How do you see MySalary influencing workplace financial wellness, and what led your company to sign up? You mentioned that your business is already on it, and how has it been experienced so far?
I would first say that the experience is good because, like I said, the feedback we received from the employees were positive. They are happier, they're more engaged in their roles. There's a time that we were seeing most employees, they want to leave the companies that we've outsourced them to. But now when we introduced the MySalary app, now they're more interested in staying in the companies because they're like, if we leave this company, we're not going to have access to MySalary. So you're finding that MySalary is also bringing in retention of employees. Their support system is also very good. Someone like Roy works until very late. So you're able to access a support team at any time. That's from our experience. And then it's a good app so far. We've not experienced anything negative on it. If you don't want anyone to borrow, you can easily blacklist them. You can block them from borrowing. So it's something that you're able to control from a dashboard. Yeah, so my experience so far is good with the MySalary app. I would encourage people to get on it, especially if you want an automated process to salary advance, because you find the normal way of salary advance is very manual, a lot of documentation, a lot of approvals required, but now you just have a system that anybody can get on it, request for an approval, and the approval is done. So it's a faster way to salary advances.
Great. I think that's a wonderful explanation of the experience, and in fact, I'll be meeting Niladri later today to see how we can also sign up. So, Niladri, coming back to you, how does MySalary work as a platform? What are the key differentiators compared to traditional salary advances and the very notorious mobile loans that we see in Kenya?
Thank you, Moses. I think it's a very hot topic and very interesting subject, because we have seen a lot of lending companies in the market. Before MySalary, I think everybody must have encountered with any one or two digital lending organizations. We have seen that the payday lenders or the digital lenders or the other lending organizations, their charges are much more higher. And what happens now, you get easily trapped into it because once you fail to pay the premium, your interest gets compounded, and it can go up to 100% or even more. And the people who actually borrow, they again borrow to pay off, right, the previous outstanding. So that cycle keeps on moving and moving, and that strays them out at the workplace, because our target and key differentiator is we are not going into the market. We are just targeting the employees and the employer segment. Because where we have seen that if the employees are satisfied, they access their own money, they are more focused on the work. And that is also pertaining to the retention and also the employer's benefit as well, because it's all interrelated.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Ford, I'd like to come back to you. What are the biggest challenges employees face today, and how can MySalary help employers address them more effectively? What's been your experience?
Well, one of the biggest challenges that employees face today, and even if you look at research currently in Kenya, majority of Kenyans who are working live paycheck to paycheck. And like Roy put it at the beginning, you get to mid-month and then you have already having disgruntled employees, they're coming to you and, they want you to, lend them some money and all that. So these challenges also, we've seen it, if you don't have a solution in place to able to address these challenges, even though they are their own financial challenges, they become part of you also as the business, because performance is impacted, they're not able to deliver, and also this rolls over to their personal life, Exactly.
Yeah, and I think sometimes one of the things I've seen with these mobile loans, which I think is often a complaint, for instance, is that sometimes the employee has borrowed from one of those platforms, and then they start calling the numbers that they're associated with, which of course is quite embarrassing. So there's obviously this discretion that MySalary brings into the process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, would you say?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. I'd like to come back to you, Snehar. From an employer's perspective, how does MySalary improve employee retention, productivity, and financial well-being?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, it's a win-win. As a company, we're focused on growing our revenues, of course, with the help of the employees, and we can't do that if the employees are not taken care of, that they're kept happy. So up until now, we've had a policy of not giving advances. In fact, just this evening, I've got a board meeting where I'm going to change that policy to allow that to bring a solution like MySalary. So yeah, from our point of view, and times have changed since COVID. Employees are supposed to be more flexible, given more autonomy, also in terms of location. They're allowed to work remotely. So even when that is happening, we don't know what the employees are doing. And I think there's one word that I learned, again, being in Kenya. I think some of you might be familiar with it. It's called moonlighting. So moonlighting is basically doing two jobs in the same day. And I think Kenyans are very entrepreneurial, so they do that. And I guess they have to make ends meet. But by having a product like MySalary, where when there's a pain point, our employees can get the cash flow sorted, beforehand, then they're loyal and dedicated to your job. So we're very optimistic to use tools like this, and I loved some of the innovation that is coming out of here. I mean, again, as Kenyans, we should be so proud. I see Mr. Kamal as the Steve Jobs of Africa, and good innovations have been grown out of here. I mean, look at M-Pesa. It was grown out of here because of a need. Pay-as-you-go solar, which is solving electricity challenges for millions of our population, was grown out of here. So again, with this small seedling that is being planted today, I like to see that really thrive and grow out as being made in Kenya, but then spread globally. So yeah, very excited.
Yeah, actually, the word is Snehar. The word is the side hustle. I think that's what Kenyans like to do, and that's the phrase they use when they do that extra little piece of business. So yeah, that's typically quite common in the marketplace. I'd like to come back to you, Gloria. Again, just want to sort of go maybe a bit deeper into understanding what the experience has been as far as adopting the platform. What are your employees saying? What are your senior leadership saying as well? And maybe, when you're thinking about going forward, what do you think the implications will be for your organization, your employees, your leadership team, as far as adopting MySalary is concerned?
I would say from senior leadership point, at first it was challenging because it was like, how will we implement this into our payroll? So they were more concerned about what are the payroll processes going to be like. Is it going to be more tedious because you're having people borrowing at the same time? So there was a lot of that concern. But once we got the feedback, that data we got from the employees after the onboarding process, seeing how happy they were and how better they were performing is what enabled them to say, okay, this looks like a good product that we can actually keep using. In terms of, I've forgotten, sorry. Yeah, So for implementing that product into our workplace, we noticed that especially the frontline staff were able to access wages according to how they've worked. Because we have different payment modes, we have some people who are paid weekly. So the fact that they were able to see when they get on the app, I've worked 11 days and I've earned this amount, that enabled them to enabled them to avoid missing work. So it brought about a lot of less missing of work, less of absence from work, and then more employees were happier, like I had mentioned earlier. And then there was a lot of engagement in terms of now they understand, oh, I earn this amount per day. You'd find that before they didn't really know how much they even earn as a daily wage. So now they are more in tune with, this is how much I earn, I want to earn more. And so they're more motivated, basically.
So that's interesting. So what you're saying is that even absenteeism now has improved because they know that you are paid on the strength of showing up.
Exactly. So now they're able to know, if I'm not coming into work today, I'm not going to get my 1,000 per day. So you'd find like more of them are now coming into work, they're not missing work. And then you'd find before, problems we noted were some of them would miss work based on, I don't have fare. I don't have money to go to work and it's embarrassing. Maybe I can't call in and say I don't have fare. So I'll use a sick day or whatever to miss work.
Wow.
But now they're able to access funds and even go to work. You see, because you can withdraw daily. So we found that it brought a lot of financial control. They're able to control their cash flow now, because they're able to know I'm spending this much today and I shouldn't spend more than this. So it's also controlling them in terms of how they're spending and how they're living their lives. So I feel it has created a direct impact to them, because now it's like we are helping you manage yourself indirectly.
Fantastic. I think that's wonderful. So in a way, it's become a performance management tool, as it were.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd like to come back to you, Niladri. How secure and scalable is MySalary? I think that's something that people would want to know. And then what integrations have been put in place with HR payroll systems as well?
Okay, in terms of security, I think in all our platforms, we follow the standard protocols of security, data encryption, multi-factor authentication, and of course, we comply with the local regulation in terms of the data security. Because as a group, we deal with a lot of transactional data. So we have to be secure. And I'm glad that Snehar, he represents one of the big data center in this country, how it is important to secure the data. This is our core focus remains. So when we actually integrate with the HR platform for any organizations, of course, we use the standard APIs to integrate and automate the data to flow back and forth. And that is also kind of transmitted through the encrypted mechanisms, right? So on the scalability perspective, of course, it's a cloud-based, it's a microservices architectures. So it's a very, very highly scalable. It can go beyond, the transactional speed would be much more higher. We can capture millions and millions of transactions, in our system. And we can go global very fast. So this is the starting point.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So basically, it's relatively easy to set up,
right.
do the integration, and get the benefits immediately. Fantastic. I'd like to come back to you, Ford, and sort of ask this question. What concerns do employers typically have about salary advance programs, and how does MySalary address these concerns from your perspective as a business leader?
Well, salary advances in itself are benefits given to employees, and I think today the presentations today have shown the vast benefits that are there with salary advances. But the challenge for most employers, including ourselves, is trying to find that balance between employees accessing these benefits and enjoying the benefits, at the same time trying to control and mitigate the negative impacts that comes with over-dependence to salary advances. And MySalary, how it's structured, and we've seen in the presentations today, it strikes that perfect balance in terms of ensuring employees are able to access their salaries as they earn them. And the benefits, we have all seen how the benefits in terms of motivation, in terms of financial planning and all that. But then also, the platform itself creates a win-win, for both businesses and employers to ensure that the risks are mitigated and the employees are able even to plan much better for their wages as they work and continue to do so. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And Snehar, I'd like to come back to you. How do you see MySalary influencing corporate wellness programs, and is this the future of salary payments?
Yeah, so I think this is a product that can definitely go viral. We like to be early adopters. I was quite proud that I was the first person to own an iPhone in Kenya when they were introduced. I think I was one of the first to try out Starlink, and we would be one of the first to really use and benefit from MySalary. So we would love to spread the word about the benefits, because at the end of the day, it's doing good to all our partners and clients and suppliers. So you can imagine if each and everyone in this room did that, the power it can have. And as you said earlier, this is something that can also spread across the continent and maybe globally as well. We really hope that corporates as well as employees can benefit from this product.
Great. So at this point, I'd like to open up questions to the audience and yourselves, all of you. I hope there's a roaming microphone or two that is available, but would love to hear your questions and any concerns that you might have that you can field to our panel. Does anybody have any questions? Any question for the panel? Okay, seems there are no questions, so maybe I could just come back to you guys and we keep going. And I'd like to start off with you, Gloria, again. Would you recommend MySalary to other businesses, and what advice would you give them and the HR leaders who are also considering such a solution?
I would definitely recommend MySalary to other businesses and HR leaders, because it is something which we are personally using in the company, and we've seen what it has done in the company in terms of employee satisfaction. In fact, the moment that they were onboarded, they were already smiling. The fact that they could log in and then see, oh, I have this amount of money here with me right now, I can withdraw it right now. And we practically did it with some of them, and we were like, you wanted an advance, take your 3,000 now, take this now. So when they had that experience, you could see that they were already smiling like, oh my God, I have 3,000 today. That was so random, So I would definitely recommend it, because once you incorporate it properly within the company, you will start seeing the changes immediately. So you'll start seeing the employee satisfaction, it will boost retention in terms of people now don't want to leave the company because they have this option of taking money without being charged interest, So now you're locking out things like credit cards, which maybe they were probably using and getting high interest on them. And they're now borrowing money with very little. I think they only pay a very small processing fee. So that enables them to save their money and not use too much of their money as they keep going along throughout the month. So they're able to manage themselves. So once you have a workforce which is able to be financially resilient, you will find that even in the company, they're adding value. Yeah, because there's a time I was working with a client how they would measure the performance of the employees was based on the food that they would give them. So they would be like, today when these employees eat githeri, they are so bored. They don't do nothing when they come to work. But when we give them fish on Fridays, they're excited after work, and then they're able to work in the company well. So now there's this MySalary app. When they have that app, they're now working the same as when they eat fish on Fridays. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
The more you talk about it, the more excited I'm getting. Like, I need to really sign up today. So that it just shows me that almost like the fringe benefits really do exceed more than the advance itself, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'd like to come back to you, Niladri, again. And I think this is what we'd all like to know. What are the future plans for MySalary? Are there additional tools that you want to deploy? Maybe things for savings, financial coaching? Where's this going to go down the road beyond what we're seeing today?
Thank you, Moses. I think, when Kamal was on the stage, he mentioned about it, that it's a journey. It's a trajectory. We started with MySalary as a salary advance or nano-lending. But eventually we need to create a wellness program, a financial wellness program. So that has to be part of that. When I get the money, what I'm going to use it? Am I going to use it for certain payments like school fees? Am I going to pay for rental of my house, or buy some airtime, or send some money to somebody? So can we create a whole wellness program, and also yoga teaching or classes? So this is a lifestyle element as well. Because we came from a lifestyle app called Little, so where we're creating the whole lifestyle journey. So I think MySalary also, we are trying to create a financial lifestyle or wellness program on the platform. So that's the journey we are looking at.
So going forward, it's going to become much more holistic. That's what you're saying.
Much more holistic, yes.
Fantastic. I'd like to come back to you, Ford. If you were to recommend MySalary to other businesses, what would be your key selling points?
Well, I think for me, the value proposition to the employee, and this goes into the benefits that we have discussed today, because as organizations are people, and also as an employer, you have to put the needs of your people first so that they can be able to take care of your business and your customers. So in terms of the value proposition to the employees, and just the burden that it takes off from the employers in terms of managing this salary advances the traditional way, and also the strain that it could have on a cash flow management. So the benefits are very immense, and I will definitely recommend it to any organization.
And both for the employer and the employee. Yeah. Exactly. Snehar, I'd like to come back to you. What would encourage more employers to adopt MySalary, and what obstacles do you foresee in wider market adoption?
Yeah, so I think one selling point for us was beyond the product itself, because we have a HR system that we've been using. We've had some challenges with that in terms of the functionality, etc. And in fact, earlier this week we had a demo of the HR system that is also provided by the company. So that's an added advantage, to also get access to a very, comprehensive and fully functional HR system. So that's sort of a big selling point for us. For more adoption, to get the product kick-started, we would love it if for the first 3 months, Little gave us the money and we as a corporate didn't have to pay it back. That would be a nice gesture.
A new feature, right?
Yeah. Look, in terms of obstacles, I frankly can't see much, because the way the product has been designed and portrayed, the unique philosophy of life is to keep it simple. So it's such a simple product, and benefits for both sides. I think there were some concerns about fraud, but also those have been addressed in terms of also the risk of corporate not paying back, because you could have fictitious corporates who could game the system, if you like, but it looks like that's been thought of as well. So at the moment, personally, I cannot see any obstacles, but of course, by trying it out, and we would also love to give any feedback for improvements. So it's still early days, I would say.
Okay, great. I think we're almost out of time, so I'd like us to go to our last questions. And again here, I would like to ask you in a minute or less, please share one key takeaway that you think our audience could leave with, both who are here and online, regarding MySalary and financial empowerment, and what would it be? So just your last parting shot, and maybe we can start with you, Niladri.
So we are looking at a financial freedom for everybody. When we talk about the employees, the primary goal is that can an employee work in an organization stress-free? while his financial freedom is in his hand. So when he needs his money, he gets his money. He should not be worried about that I have to do something, I have to borrow in the market and get stressed out. So this is what we are aiming for to achieve.
Good.
Yeah.
Snehar, maybe you can give us your last remark.
Yeah, I think this is a great start. I've also been trained in education. I've been training tech talent at Moringa School. And the new generation of the youth that are coming out into sort of income generation, we're seeing a bigger and bigger trend of the youth not going for employment but becoming entrepreneurs or doing freelancing jobs. So if there's a way that their pain points can also be addressed, because even for them, when they charge their clients, how can they also benefit from advances? So this is a challenge I would like to leave the company to think about that important segment as well.
Great. What about you, Gloria? Your closing remark?
I would say a company's greatest assets are its employees. So how well they're taken care of is how well they will perform in the company. So an app like MySalary will definitely show them that you care about them, you care about their financial stress, and they will definitely perform better, come to work more, and you will retain most of them based on that.
Thank you so much. And Ford, finally.
I think one key takeaway today is financial empowerment starts with stability. And we have to give credit to the team at Little with the excellent work that they've done with the product MySalary, because it delivers just that in a very simple and seamless way.
Thank you. Niladri, I realize there's one question we haven't asked you. How do we onboard? What is the path? Like many here today might want to sign up today. How can they begin the journey of getting their organizations onto MySalary?
Thanks, Moses. I think it's as simple as you think to onboard a customer. It could be in few minutes, because it's like signing up on MOU with the organizations where the organization is kind of becoming a guarantor that yes, this is my employees, and the employees are working full time and they have a payroll we maintain, and I'm taking as a guarantor, to make sure that whatever the outstanding is at the end of the month, I'm going to deduct from their salary when I process it and I settle with you. That much. And there is no financial liability or implications straight to the employer, because we only charge a tiny, small portion straight to the disbursement, and that is going to be from the employee, not the employee.
It's as simple as that. You sign an MOU
absolutely.
And you're onboarded.
Yep.
As simple as that. Great. So I think you've heard it all from our wonderful panel here today, how MySalary is, transforming the way salary day funds can be made available to employees. How organizations can also operate with a way that doesn't compromise their cash flow, but more importantly, a new and innovative way that leverages digital technology that transforms this process and ultimately adds value across the board. So thank you so much, everyone. Please give them a hand. I think they've been wonderful.